What's going on, guys? Today we're going to be looking at why I sold pretty much all my Tesla shares. And if you don't know, I've been a long-time Tesla shareholder for pretty much about 5 years now, at least, I would say. And I originally bought when it was about a $30 billion company, and today it is a $820 billion company. So the main reason I sold was because when you look at the valuation for this company, and what they've done in earnings last year, what they're going to do this year, and what they're probably going to do the following year, and you look at how high the PE ratio is, and then you see, okay, in the last year or two, this stock has topped out at around 200 and let's say 260, $265. When it gets to this point at around 265, it almost always comes right back down. Okay. And not only that, the important thing here is if we look up the PE ratio for Tesla right now, what you're going to see is that the PE ratio pretty much bounces around 35 to about an 80. Okay. And when I sold last week, so we can scroll down here, I'll show you. I owned a lot of shares back in the day, but over the last probably at least 2 or 3 years now, I've been selling. But most recently, the last couple of weeks, I sold. So I started selling at the end of let's see, this is mid-July. I sold 5 shares at 258. September, I sold another 5 shares at 255, and then just like a week ago, I sold 25 shares at $261 because I was really confident that 261 was going to be pretty much the top for this stock, and it pretty much was because look at since then, the stock it topped out at 261 and then it's been coming down. I just don't see this stock going to $300 anytime soon because the P ratio is so high for this company, and the earnings are not growing like I think a lot of people thought they were, including me. And so, okay, so here's the P ratio, right? It was 81 here, it was 80 there, and then we just hit it was 73, but really it was even more than that. When you looked at all you had to do was run the numbers on what they were going to do for EPS, and you could see that it was easily trading over what it normally trades. So I mean, especially when you're talking about a company that trades 85 times earnings, no matter what the scenario is, that's not really sustainable. That's going to come down, that's going to compress at some point. And so I just kind of knew that that wasn't, maybe if they were going to grow at 40% or something, or they're going to have some huge jump in earnings, that would make sense. But they're really not. Okay, last year they did 3.1. This year they're expected to do 2.2, and then next year it's expected to go back to 3.1. So if the stock is $260, then even if we use next year's earnings, which is the same thing they did last year, that's trading at 84 times earnings. Okay, 84 times earnings. So that's already well above the last the last 2 years of where this stock is traded. That's already well above. So here, 4P of this is saying 89. Either way, it's way too high. Okay, it's way too high. So let's just say this stock does come. It might not come down all the way to 35 times earnings or so, but it probably will come down to 50 or 60 times earnings. And that's where I see this stock being, let's say, I think $175 a share is very real, very, very realistic. So that's where I see Tesla going. If that does happen, then yes, I may buy some more shares again. I may not. But I would make a huge bet that this stock is not going to keep going up. And I think in about 10 days or so, they have an event coming up where they're going to talk about some of their products and what they're going to do in the future. I just think after that event, the hype's going to die down a little bit, and this stock is probably going to go back down to $200 a share. If not, if there's a lot of negativity in the market or around the stock, then Tesla will go back down to $150 a share. Then at that point, then it looks like an attractive investment. But right now, the valuation is way too high. Their earnings next year are literally supposed to be what they were last year, so it's not like there's a lot of growth there. And so that's it. That's the main reason that I sold the majority of my Tesla shares.